Hello, chart watchers and DecisionPoint faithful. Welcome to this Monday, April 12th, 2021 edition of DecisionPoint. My name's Erin Swenlin from DecisionPoint.com, and I am here with my father, Carl Swenlin. We're going to show you the charts that we think are really important right now going into the week. And our indicators are just telling us lots of interesting information that we want to share with you. Before we get started, welcome my father in. How are you doing, Dad?
Doing okay.
Excellent. Lots of interesting charts, aren't there?
Exactly.
So we have lots to talk about. So in particular, we're going to give you the overview of what we're seeing with the SPY. Really interesting today. The SPY closed up slightly while the S&P closed down slightly. So we'll look at that. The big four, dollar, crude oil, bonds, gold. We'll be looking at those. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time on our DecisionPoint sector charts. Carl's going to go through what we include on them and the annotations that he is seeing as important currently. I will be covering the Swenlin Trading Oscillators through the broad markets. I talked a lot about them in our free trading room this morning for the S&P 500. But I think it's a very instructive to also look at them across the broad market. Carl's got a new ETF he wants to share with you that he found. So he'll talk about the Inflation Beneficiaries ETF. And finally, we will finish the show with my Diamond of the Week. And I do publish DecisionPoint Diamonds. So I do 10 picks per week. And this is just a sampling of how I do them by giving you this Diamond of the Week. So let's go ahead and get started on everything. The first thing we like to look at is our sector scoreboard. This tells us whether we have intermediate term and long-term buy signals. The long-term trend model is probably the easiest. It's 50, 200-day EMA crossovers. So when you have a golden cross or the 50 goes above the 200-day, that gives you the buy signal. The intermediate term trend model follows the 20 and 50-day EMAs. So when you get a positive 20, 50-day EMA crossover, or what we like to call a silver cross, that's going to give you a buy signal in the intermediate term. So as you can see, currently everything is on a buy signal right now, but the charts look very different. And so that is one of the reasons Carl's going to be showing you what is going on those sector charts. So let's go ahead and get to it and look at some charts. I'm going to share the screen with you, Dad. We'll start off with your look at what's going on with the S&P.
Okay, before I do that, let me start with, I wanted to spend a few minutes to explain exactly what these notations are on our sector charts and you know, what you would want to do with them. I put a vertical line through what I call cardinal tops, price tops, and it's not so that I see what happens afterwards so much as I want to see what happens before. So for example, right here in March, we had a cardinal top, and what I wanted this is what I want to pick up is before that top, the bullish percent started dropping. The stocks above the 20 EMA started dropping. And that's showing some solid technical deterioration under this new top. And that's especially what I'm looking for. So, and I follow the tops as they go out, and we update these charts every day. And I just, as it's going along, I'm moving this line on the right when there is one to be that's relative, and just to watch what's going on. And you know, in this case, we had confirming moves on all the indicators here. Pretty much, we had a little deterioration here, but that's just sort of minor. One of the other things to be, like the silver cross indicator, if it's down, and in this case it's not down very much, but if it was down here at about 60%, for example, you would want to look at the percent of stocks above their 20 EMA. And if that was higher, if it was higher in its range, that would indicate that even though the 20, in this case, the 20 is below the 50 EMA, in most cases, in many cases, the 20 is above price is above the 20 EMA, which means that 20 is moving up towards the 50. So they're going to intersect sooner or later. It's just a matter of, that's a very subtle distinction, but it could be an important one. And I'll keep that in mind for future reference. We can point it out in the DPA. So any questions there, Erin, before I move on?
No, I think that that's pretty clear. You know, do you mind looking at, I know everybody's interested in technology right now because it did really fire up the market the last 2 weeks. And I've been noticing there's a few problems on that chart. And I'm wondering if you see any as well.
Well, okay, OBV is not confirming. It's a negative divergence. PMO is actually negatively divergent. But here's a case where you have the silver cross, meaning the 20 is above the 50, is at 80, almost 84, and the stocks above their 20 and 50 EMAs is also very high. So everything is in gear there. The big problem is this is overbought, this is overbought, this is overbought. This is as well, it's the Golden Cross index, but that one moves so slowly that I wouldn't be immediately concerned about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tipping over of the BPI is a problem. And then, yes, I've been noticing that OBV negative divergence. And, you know, it's something that we need to consider as we move forward with technology.
Yes. And OBV is as boring as watching grass grow most of the time, but sometimes it gives you a message that's worth listening to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I had
ability to talk about overbought. We have 100% with their price above their 20 and 100% above their 50 as well. So, I mean, certainly this has been a very powerful and strong sector.
Right. And the silver cross is up at nearly 90%.
Right. That's very
percent over 90%. So yeah, this is an overbought sector. That doesn't say it's going to turn tomorrow, but it's overbought. So you should be cranking up the caution on that.
Absolutely.
Let me
All right,
move
let's look
over.
at the S&P. Let's go for it.
I'm sorry?
Let's go and look at the S&P.
Yeah, okay. I got to turn the volume up. Okay. Okay. The S&P 500 as represented by the SPY. Volume was not too great today in SPY volume or the S&P total volume. Notice we have, I didn't put one, but we could draw a line here and then show this is accelerating and now this is accelerating. And, you know, the more accelerated it becomes, the more likely we're going to get a breakdown. So just be watching out for that.
Mm-hmm.
On the 1 year daily, nice rising trend channel and getting close to the top of it.
Very overbought at RSI as well. So these are the conditions we have to be concerned about as we're getting closer and closer to what is likely to be a market top.
Right, right. And the VIX is overbought. New highs still contracting in regards to the higher ones, while the price is hitting new all-time highs. Climactic readings. I guess you could say this is in a climactic range here, the new highs, but that's it. I mean, there's not really anything else backing that up. Negative divergences on the percent of PMOs rising, percent of stocks above the 20 EMA. And you can see that as we hit a new high today, we got a contraction in the STOB, STOV contracted as well. So we've been looking for a top since, well, I'm even going to go into that. It's still looking toppy.
Absolutely. I never like it when those turn down. They're pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're going to cover that, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Silver Cross Index at 88. That's overbought, very overbought. Bullish percent overbought, and Golden Cross overbought.
Yeah, it's still at the highest reading since we started calculating it back in 2017. So historically high reading.
Right. We're still, let's see, the ITVM, it didn't expand today, I guess you could say. The best you could say about it. But you notice we've got negative divergences on the ITVM and on the PMO crossover buy signals, negative divergences. Okay, let me go into the big four. We've got gold. Yeah, here, this is gold for you. Here we have a nice double bottom, and it goes up, it breaks through the neckline and the confirmation line, actually, what you call it. And then you say, okay, that's the time to get in, right? No, it drops back down. So what is it going to do? I don't know. We have a positive PMO, and that's, you got to say that. It got a bottom above the signal line, and that's second bottom on price. So my feeling is it's tending to go higher, but the tendency is not very strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really lined up. And just when it gets lined up, it's so gold.
Yes, the ideal entry point would have been after this bottom form, you had a nice confirming bottom on the PMO, very positive. So you could still be, if you had got in there, you could still be in the green, but it's a shaky situation. But yeah, I've often heard people say, and I believe it, don't buy breakouts, because by that time it's used up a lot of juice.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the dollar we had a breakdown from the rising wedge, but it seems to be getting support here. Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the PMO's on a sell signal. I've been expecting a pretty good breakdown here for the dollar, and
good point.
Yeah, really cooperating.
Good point. Okay, USO stalled, really. We started looking at possibly a head and shoulders pattern. The right shoulders just fizzled out so far. We've gone from a very overbought PMO to in the neutral zone now. So maybe this correction's enough, and maybe it's just going to dribble sideways for a while. And T-bonds, kind of a neutral picture right now.
Yeah, yields were up slightly, right? Or were they down today? I can't remember.
I'm sorry?
Yields. I think they fell a little bit today.
I don't have that chart up, but let me see. Well, I don't want to use this chart and find it here. Their 10-year is what I've followed most closely. Basically, it's bottom before it got down to the bottom of this range. This seems, we had an acceleration and it finally broke through that. It looks like we're getting a sideways consolidation going right now. And if we hit the top of this before we go back to the bottom of the range, that would be very bullish, and I would look for if maybe another pullback and a breakout. So that's there. The 30-year is a little different. We've got a no range. We've got a triangle forming, and in a triangle. Well, could you consider this to be a pennant?
Yeah, I think it could be.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Looking strictly at the pennant portion, which is a triangle. What is that? A right triangle?
Yeah, it looks like a descending triangle.
Okay, descending triangle. And it's the flat line is the weakest, so it's possible we will get a correction in bond yields.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing before I go. Well, Bitcoin looks like it's flattening right around 61. But I wouldn't consider that a sign that it's never going to go higher, because who knows with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting ride there with that rising wedge, but it just, I was feeling pretty bullish about it because it went down there and it didn't have to test that rising bottoms trend line, and then it did. It's just stalling out at that 60,000 range.
See, I was going to look at
yes, the new ETF.
New ETF. I got the wrong. Okay, I didn't dig this out per se. I subscribed to ETF 2020, published by Walden, written by Jared Dillian, and he came up with this the other day, and I thought it was good to include into our ETF tracker list, which is now in the high 80s, I think we have in terms of numbers of ETFs in it. This one is inflation beneficiaries. So it's actively managed, and basically it's got kind of stocks in it that will benefit from inflation, which everybody seems to think is coming. And of course, it is actually here in a lot of ways. And just thought this is not a recommendation. This is just information that if you're interested in something that is taking a beat on inflation, this might be a good one for you. Okay. And I think you can take it back.
I shall do just that.
Would he ever stop?
Okay. So what I was going to go over is the Swenlin Trading Oscillators. I'm just going to pull up right here. So we do have the Swenlin Trading Oscillators for more than just the S&P. And again, one of the things that I was noting in our trading room was just really how prophetic they tend to be. They really do tend to time very nicely. So for example, so this is the NYSE composite, and these are the Swenlin Trading Oscillators for that. Now, obviously, these haven't updated yet, but they still give us all the information we need to know right now. We do have that PMO buy signal. So, overall, there's still a bullish bias going on here. But you'll notice that they have turned over. And we do have a negative divergence because they are moving lower, those tops right here. And we have higher tops here on price. So we have negative divergence. But the main thing I wanted to show you is that on all of these, I believe every single one of these Swenlin Trading Oscillators and all of the different indexes have topped. and are moving down. And, you know, they tend to be pretty accurate. So here's the first time this one topped. You can see it came in there. We had some consolidation coming in. This is when this one topped, and you can see some consolidation, but eventually the decline. This was an overbought one. You can see the timing of this was just excellent. But on the same side, we watch for these oversold readings. And when we get the oversold reading and it starts to move up, here both of them started to move up, that came right here on this day. And we still had quite a bit of move to the upside. Here's another one back here where it turned up. These oscillators are uncannily accurate. And we put a lot of, at least I know I do, I put a lot of emphasis on them in my analysis. If they're turning over in the short term, I'm looking for a market top. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to get a correction. This doesn't mean that you're going to even get a top. You might end up with what we had back here, a little bit of consolidation, not much. We did end up getting that low there, and we had warning because we had the positive and then it turned right back down. So we knew that there were some problems as well back there. But this is what I want to point out on all of these charts. So this is the NYSE. Let's look over at the NASDAQ. And similar action here again. These are as of Friday. So we already knew Friday that there were some very serious issues with this short-term rising trend. And they have turned down and are continuing down. And I suspect today they are moving lower again. So that's not good for the NASDAQ. You can see the NDX, the NASDAQ 100. In this case, they just turned down on Friday. And we did get a decline today. And I suspect, again, we're going to see these continuing to decline. The S&P we looked at, here is the S&P 100. This one looks a little different. We still have these rising, but again, this is from Friday. So going in out of Friday, we still were looking at the S&P 100 with some positivity. But I suspect we're going to see them top, and we'll be watching that as well. If I see that happen today, once they update, I will let everybody know in the DP alert. And this is the Dow. And the Dow, the industrials have been stronger, but look at how overbought the STOV is right now. And again, I'm expecting these to turn down. We did have a negative day today. We'll have to see how that works out. But overall, again, here's a negative divergence for the STOV. And then again, very, very overbought reading here for the STOV on the Dow. Let's look at the S&P 400 and 600, and then we'll look into getting to our diamond of the week. So here we have the S&P 400. We had topping action a lot earlier in the week last week. They are continuing lower. We might even see a negative reading come in here on the S&P 500s, the S or 400s, STOV. So they are continuing lower as well. We don't necessarily have a negative divergence just because we have flat tops here, but the fact that these are in decline is definitely putting a bearish outlook on the S&P 400. The S&P 600, we've already topped. We even have negative readings here on the STOV. We did manage to eke out a little bit of gain here today. We'll have to take a look at these at the end of the day to see if we've hit negative territory yet for the STOV. But again, with this topping action, they generally come in early. Here's the last top right there where they turn down. So we already know they're in a negative configuration and continuing to fall. So I would expect to see them continue to fall. And then notice the difference in the PMO here on the S&P 600 heading lower. We didn't have a buy signal on the S&P 600. And I suspect there wasn't one here. I didn't look at it. Yes, so the S&P 400, we actually do have that PMO buy signal. But again, I don't like seeing these Swenlin Trading Oscillators all in decline. Anything you'd like to add?
Nope.
Nope. Yep. Basically, if you are interested in getting these into our StockCharts member, you can go and get the chart packs for DecisionPoint. All you have to do is go to your account, come down here to manage chart packs. The DecisionPoint ones are all free, and you can remove them and you can reinstall them just so you'll get our updates. For example, we're going to be updating that ETF tracker with some of these new ETFs that we have. And the ETF tracker is in the trend and condition chart pack, I think. No, market indicators chart pack. That's where that one's located. All right, so let's get to our diamond of the week. Let's see, I've got 3 minutes. So I'm first going to show you the sector it's from, which is discretionary. This is one of the leads we broke out today. We're still seeing some really great numbers out of those discretionary stocks. You can see down here what we're looking at. We have the PMO buy signal. OBV is confirming this move, making higher highs with price. So that's a good thing, no negative divergences. We do have overbought readings here, but these are all can support further, a move higher. And you still do have that BPI trending upward. Golden Cross, I'm not seeing anything negative here. And like you said, that's a pretty slow mover, but overall, I'm liking this sector. So that consequently is why Canada Goose Holdings is my diamond of the week. As you can see, we had a nice turn back here on that gap support. We can see the PMO has just started to turn up. You've got some volume coming in with the OBV making this nice move to the upside. And then you can look at how it's comparing relatively to the S&P, and you can see it is starting to outperform the S&P. Overall, this group has been starting to outperform the S&P over the long haul. This one had been not performing quite as well, but you can see the performance is starting to pick up here, and it is in that discretionary sector. If you opted in on this one, the stop level that I'm looking at would be just below this area of support. That is a deep stop at 9%, but I think the upside potential looks pretty good here. It's at least twice what my stop level is. And let me see what that weekly chart looks like. It's not particularly beautiful, but it's not particularly ugly either. But this gives you some idea of upside potential. So right here, we've got about a 17% if it can get back up to its 2021 high. And if it can actually burst above that, the next area of overhead resistance really isn't up until about $60. And then you're looking at about a 40% upside potential. So I like the looks of this. Yes, the PMO is turning over, but we've seen the same action that happened over here. And it is trying to flatten out now with this move off of that 17-week EMA. So that would be my diamond of the week, Canada Goose Holdings, GOOS. And that pretty much is going to wrap it up for us here at the DecisionPoint Show. We wish you happy trading and a good week ahead. Be sure and check out our website right here. You can get to the homepage, sign up for our free email list, and you'll get all of our free material. Happy trading.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.